Everybody. My name is Lou Presenza, and I'm grateful to be here today to talk to you about missionary discipleship. And I appreciate the support from Father Steve and allowing me to do this. But Father Steve and Deacon Anthony asked me to talk to you about what's called missionary discipleship. And as you've seen through the weeks leading up to today, and there's more to come, it's really about us letting our baptismal faith, our baptismal promise, our baptismal idea that we are to go out to the world and to show what the gospel means. That's what Jesus asked us to do. And that's what we do. But the one thing I'll say is, it's not incumbent upon us to just go out there on the pulpit and speak all the time about the gospel. What it really is incumbent for us is to live our lives, talk to people, and let the Spirit do the work for us. It's kind of how I got to be diaconate program. Deacon Anthony just talked to me. That's all it was. And now here I am. The Spirit led me this way. And when I think about the Spirit and how the Spirit has taken people to do things, we just last week celebrated St. Patrick. Now, for many of you, St. Patrick is a very Irish saint. Okay, we all know some of his story, but some of the background is very interesting because when you think about his background, he was essentially someone born in Roman England, or probably in the western part of England, was captured by Irish pirates and brought to Celtic lands where he's enslaved, but had a fascination with the Irish people. Escaped, ran all the way through France, and later joined the seminary there and became a priest, and asked to go over back to Ireland to convert the people there. Now, they're very hostile to him because, he's different, he's foreign, but through the Spirit, he worked his magic. He showed them what our faith is about, showed them the idea of the Trinity. And obviously, he then baptized people. And that legacy has carried on to the point that some of our prior pastors in our church, Monsignor Clark, who married my wife and I, Monsignor Roger, both fine Irishmen, have their legacy all the way back to St. Patrick. So it's amazing how the Spirit does its thing. Another story I find very intriguing, personally because I've seen it, is Guadalupe. I spent a summer in Mexico City, and part of that time I got to see the tilde that was presented to Juan Diego. Now, interesting background, Juan Diego was just a peasant Indian, barely spoke Spanish, but had some faith. He was talked to about the faith, but had a little bit of it. And there he is, walking along his pathway, and the Virgin Mary appears to him. And when she appears to him, he then goes back to the bishop, and no one believes him. So she gives him a sign, and that's the tilde that exists today. And from that sign, all of Mexico was converted. Most of Latin America was converted to Catholicism. So one simple act, one simple person can make a difference. In both instances, though, the Spirit led them to convert other people. All they did was plant the seed, and someone else continued that for them. That someone else being the Spirit. Now, you may say, hey, Lou, I'm not going to convert a whole nation. I can't convert my town, my city, my state, my territory. How can I do that? Well, it's very simple. St. Patrick and Juan Diego were very simple men. And if you know from our gospel stories, Jesus at times approached people that we would deem, wow, how could he do that? The woman at the well. Here is a woman who had sinned many times. She was a Samaritan, of all things. She went to the well at noon because if she went earlier to get water, she'd be scorned by people because she had been with many men. The story of the prodigal son. Here's someone who squandered his dad's fortune on a promise, I could do better, and then came back humbled. And what did the father do? Open arms, grabbed them, hugged them, took them in. Both those instances, forgiveness played a factor. Both those instances, the Spirit led them to do things. Both those instances were a sign of how showing love for your fellow person can really open doors. St. Patrick showed love. Juan Diego showed love. And opened doors for people to either come to their baptismal promise or renew their baptismal promise. While in the ascendancy program, we had to read a book by Father Henry Nouwen. It's called The Wounded Healer. A little background on Henry Nouwen. He's a Dutch priest, born about 1936. So he saw some of the beginnings of World War II while living in the Netherlands. But really, the post-war era is really what affected him. And in his book, The Wounded Healer, what he basically states is that we're all wounded. We all carry baggage of some sort. Low self-esteem, loss of a loved one. Something happened to us in our childhood or our careers that draw us back. Maybe we said something wrong to somebody. Maybe we did something wrong. Maybe we just have that aura about us that something's just holding us back from achieving something. We all have that. The church calls it sin, which it is, but perhaps it's just our ability not to reflect upon what is going on. But we all have that baggage. But the premise of his book was that Jesus lives in all of us. And if we see the person for who they are, their wounds and all, and understand our wounds and how Jesus works with us, we can make the world a better place. And that's the premise of his book. And that's the premise of our baptismal promise that we gave when we were young, that we renewed at our confirmation, which is to go out to the world, to show the world what love is, and the Spirit will do his will. Short story, one of my good friends, as time went on, just got very negative, very angry at things. I couldn't even communicate with him because inevitably it would lead to a wordage or something. It was just like, oh my God, why would you say that? Just very negative. One of those people I always say, the Eagles, Flyers, Sixers, and Phillies all win their championships. And the next day he'll say, they can't do it again. Never happen again. Instead of just enjoying the moment, it's a negative spirit. And that's kind of what he was. And go back to what the Wounded Healer is about. That's that angry esteem issue that people sometimes have. So, but every now we broke apart. It's hard to be around the negative. I kind of gave him the Heisman Trophy Award. Break apart. But the Spirit kept on telling me, text him every now and then. Hey, how you doing today? How's it going? How's the family? Not every day, but I just texted him every now and then. And slowly but surely had an impact upon him and upon me. So that about a month ago, I got a text from him out of nowhere saying, I'm sorry. I was a total jerk. I apologize for what I said and did. I was wrong. You may not want to take me back as a friend, but I'd be happy to embrace you and talk to you. And so we have. We have communicated. And we have got back together. That's what missionary discipleship is. We don't have to stand on the corner outside City Hall in Philly or Camden and preach the gospel. Hold up the gospel and preach it. What we have to do is show that Jesus loves us. And by showing Jesus loves us, we're actually showing the world what love is. And that in turn creates a better world. What it really comes down to is renewing the baptismal promise we gave, that we will go out to live our lives as Jesus taught us, which is love each other as you would yourself. And that's what it's about. Again, I'm not St. Patrick who's going to go to Ireland and convert the masses. I'm not Juan Diego where Virgin Mary is going to come to and say, hey, take this and show the world. They're nice. They have impacted me, obviously. But I don't have that authority to do that. If I do, God bless, God willing. But what I have is my baptismal promise to go out and just be me, show love. Because if we show love to everybody, the world will be better. Again, I want to thank you for allowing me to talk to you today. I want to let you know that your prayers have been answered for me to become a candidate, and I will continue to accept your prayers going forward. And as we journey through this Lent, just remember, Reach out to somebody if you haven't spoken to in a while. If you see someone on the street corner as you drive to work or school, just say hi. One thing we learned during the pandemic is wearing a mask, we can't see expressions. How much a smile really helps people. That smile says a lot because it gives hope. At the end of the day, love is hope as well. That's what St. Paul taught us. If we give hope to people, if we show love to people, that's what it's about.